Hello, I'd like to convene the Single Family Design Board for August 2nd, 2021. May I have roll call, please?
Thank you, Chair Miller and board members. I will now start roll call. Chair Miller.
Here.
Vice Chair Kalas. Absent. Board Member Arkelian. Absent. Board Member Klein.
Here.
Board Member Motisha.
Here.
Board Member Ziegler.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now open to public comment. Any member of the public may address the board for up to 2 minutes on any subject within its jurisdiction that is not scheduled on this agenda for the public discussion. Ms. Burkhardt, do we get any public comment?
Thank you, Chair Miller. If you are attending by webinar and would like to comment on an item not on today's agenda, please follow the directions on screen and raise your hand by clicking the hand icon on your GoToWebinar control panel. While we wait for hands, Jillian, did we receive any written correspondence for items not on today's agenda?
Thank you, Barbara. We received 5 written correspondence letters from Todd Shea, Janet Hundermark, Lauren Larkin, Mike Shin, and Matt Scribner, and they were distributed to the board prior to this meeting.
Okay, thank you. I do see one raised hand. So I'm going to call on Kelly Althauser. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm not going to call on Kelly Althauser. There are no hands raised. So I hand it back to you, Chair Miller.
All right, thank you. So should we proceed with the approval of the minutes with the current status of the board, Ms. Burkhardt?
Yes, we do have a quorum at this time.
All right, okay. So item approval of the minutes for Single Family Design Board for July 19th, 2021. May I have a motion for approval, please?
I'll move.
May I have a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. Let's go through the items. Item 1, 1207 Viscano Road. Item 2, 3627 Campanile Drive. Item 3, 229 San Clemente. Item 4, 102 Santa Rosa Place. Hearing no comments or changes, may I have a roll call, please?
Thank you. I will now start the roll call vote. Board Member Klein.
Yes.
Board Member Motisha.
Yes.
Board Member Ziegler.
Yes.
And Chair Miller.
Yes,
Thank you. Motion passes.
thank you. All right, moving on to item C, approval of the consent calendar for July 26th. May I have a motion for approval, please?
I'll move. And I second it.
All right, thank you. Ms. Burkhardt, can we go through the items?
Yes. Item A was 3627 Campanile Drive. The action was for project design approval and final approval with comments. Item B was 701 Westmont Road. The action was for project design approval and final approval with comments. And item C was 229 San Clemente. The action was for final approval as submitted. The reviewers were Miller and Klein.
All right, thank you. May I have a roll call, please?
Thank you. I will now start the roll call vote. Board Member Klein.
Yes.
Board Member Motisha.
Yes.
Board Member Ziegler.
Yes.
And Chair Miller.
Yes,
Thank you. Motion passes.
thank you. Moving on to the consent calendar for August 2nd, 2021. May I have a motion for approval, please?
I'll move.
Thank you.
Second.
All right, thank you. Ms. Burkhart, can we go through these items, please?
Yes, item A was 881 Paseo Ferrello. The action was for final approval. And item B was 407 Northridge Road. The action was for final approval. The reviewers were Miller and Klein.
All right, thank you. Hearing no comments or changes, may I have a roll call, please?
Thank you. I'll now start the roll call vote. Board Member Klein,
Yes.
Board Member Motisha,
Yes.
Board Member Ziegler,
Yes.
and Chair Miller.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes.
All right, thank you. Moving on to item D, announcements, requests for applicants for continuances and withdrawals, future agenda items and appeals. I believe, Ms. Burkhart, you have an announcement.
Yes, I do have a few announcements. Thank you, Chair Miller.
Sure.
I have an announcement of a few postponements. The first is the project at 691 North Hope Avenue was continued for today's meeting. However, it has been postponed to August 16th, 2021 at the request of the applicant. Item 1 of today's agenda, 648 Ricardo Avenue, will be postponed to August 16th, 2021 due to a lack of quorum. Item 2 of today's agenda, 925 Jimeno Road, will be postponed to August 30th, 2021 due to lack of quorum. And item 3 will be heard at 4:30.
4:30, okay. So
Thank
that being, all right, thank you. Is that those are your announcements, right? Otherwise-
Yes. Yes.
So that being said, I am going to postpone the meeting till 4:30, so I'll see you guys back at 4:30.
Ask about subcommittee reports.
Of course. Do we have any subcommittee report?
No, we do not have any subcommittee reports.
Okay. Glad we got that taken care of. All right, you guys, I'll see you at 4:30. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Reconvening the Single Family Design Board for August 22nd, 2021. Should we call for a roll call, please?
Thank you. I'll now start the roll call vote or roll call. Chair Miller,
Here.
Board Member Klein,
Here.
Board Member Motisha,
Here.
Board Member Ziegler,
I see him.
yeah.
Oh, he's here.
You're
Okay.
muted, Board Member Ziegler.
Okay, thank you.
There you are.
Thank
Okay.
you. We have a quorum.
All right, thank you. We are starting at 4:45 because our two previous items had to be postponed to another date. So we're here for 347 Salida del Sol. This is a continued item. They're requesting project design approval. It's the proposal for 463 square foot first story addition and a new 695 square foot second story addition to an existing 2,074 square foot single story residence, as well as 66 square foot reduction to the existing 475 square foot garage. The proposed 3,232 square foot development on a 10,982 square foot lot is 84% of the maximum guideline floor to lot area ratio. Again, project design approval is requested. Project requires neighborhood preservation. This project was last reviewed March 29th, 2021. Board Member Klein, do we have minutes from the previous meeting? Yes, we do. You'd like to read them into the record?
Sure. The previous comments were: 1, the applicant shall consider reshaping the second floor around the loft area. However, under any conditions, applicant shall return with appropriate sections between the southerly property and the applicant's property in order for the board to understand privacy issues with the home below. Provide a site plan showing the adjacent house and window locations. 2, refocus a design that addresses the essence of this 1950s, 1960s original piece of architecture and how it turns into a more contemporary current version. 3, the board is not supportive of the glass garage door. The board will look at some versions of glazing on the garage door, and there are many examples of how to achieve that. 4, when the project returns, the board would like to look at potential landscaping changes where exterior lighting will be considered, house colors, finished colors, roof materials, etc. 5, applicant shall work with staff to work out issues with any south-facing balcony elements so they comply with the building code and setback requirements of zoning. 6, the board appreciates the lowered pitch of the roof and maintaining the 23 feet 4-inch measurement is acceptable. 7, the board appreciates the general location of the proposed second floor addition at the southeast corner and feels it is appropriate. The board appreciates the general planning of the project and how the 2-story elements will play out with the Cliff Drive side of project and as homes descend down Salida del Sol.
All right, thank you. Mr. Hornbuckle, to make things easier, if you can go through item by item, those on the minute, that would help minimize confusion. And
absolutely. Sure. I'm sorry that I made you guys have to come back here at 4:30 and wait for another item here.
Well, I'm scared
Um,
for our next meeting. It's going to be really long, but yeah.
So would it be helpful for me to do a quick overview or just kind of a refresher? It's been a little while since you guys have seen this.
Whatever you feel is comfortable. Yeah, you have 15
Okay,
minutes.
great.
So,
Okay, great. If we want to zoom into the aerial there, the site plan aerial, that would be great. Let's start there. So just as a quick refresher, the house is there on the corner of Salida del Sol, which runs up and down on the page, and Cliff Drive, which runs along the top, left to right. Just for reference, the houses across Cliff Drive are approximately, they're a little over 150 feet from this house, and the house to the kind of kitty corner to the southwest, so to the lower left corner, that's kind of there at the angled in that corner, is just over 100 feet. Just to give you guys a bit of scale there. And then obviously the house, directly to the south is the adjacent neighbor. So let's go to the next sheet, please. So just photos, and we can just stay zoomed out here. So starting in the left-hand corner, this is looking at the front of the house, looking from Salida del Sol toward the east. And then the middle photo is looking pretty much straight on. Next photo to the right is kind of at the corner of Salida del Sol and Cliff Drive, looking back at the house. You see that tall hedge that wraps the corner. Then the next photo is from looking across Cliff Drive back at the house. And then the next two are from the backyard looking back toward the house. The photo in the bottom left is looking south along the rear yard toward the neighbor. And then the photo in the bottom middle is from the backyard looking to the east toward the rear of the house. Next photo, or I'm sorry, next sheet with more photos. Photo on the top left is the house is across Cliff Drive. The next photo, view number 10, is the house directly to the south. 11 is the home across Salida del Sol, directly across. And then 12 is kind of kitty corner across Salida del Sol. And the other photos are just some context within the neighborhood. Next sheet, please. So this is the existing site plan, which obviously we've had a survey done. That's part of the reason it's been so long since we've been back, is we've been waiting to receive a survey, which proved to be a little bit difficult, but we've got it now, and here we are. So let's go to the next sheet, which is the proposed site plan. So I think at this point, I'm going to start running through the items, and I'll cue us to the plans that are pertinent. So I'm actually going to start with number 7, and then go through, just because it's kind of a general comment, and then we'll go through. So item number 7, the board appreciates the general location of the proposed second floor addition at the southeast corner, and it feels it is appropriate. The board appreciates the general planning of the project and how the 2-story elements will play out with the Cliff Drive side of the project and as homes descend down Salida del Sol. So, obviously based on those comments from the last meeting, we've retained the second floor addition, where we showed it previously. We did do some massaging to it, and I think made it better based on, the feedback that we received from you guys. So back up to the top, item number 1. The applicant shall consider reshaping the second floor around the loft area. However, under any conditions, applicant shall return with appropriate sections between the southerly property and the applicant's property in order for the board to understand privacy issues with the new home, or with the home below. Provide a site plan showing the adjacent house and window location. So I want to zoom in a bit more on the site plan there. Yeah, so that is the house adjacent, and that's been located based on the property, or the survey, excuse me. So it's basically the same floor plan as this house. It's just, the next parcel over. So it's obviously the garage. It's got 2 bedrooms and then a bathroom in the middle. The bathroom at the rear yard has the opening toward the backyard, the window toward the backyard, and then the bedroom in the middle has an opening, you know, toward that site or toward that interior lot line. I do want to note that there is an existing fence and hedge along that property line. It's approximately 5.5, 6 feet tall, so that will remain in order to provide some, you know, the existing privacy that's there now. And then if we want to scroll over to the left, I've shown the new second floor addition in relationship to the existing house. So obviously on the ground floor, as you can see, the proposed garage is being located adjacent to the existing garage, and the bedroom configuration on the first floor doesn't really change. That's what's there now essentially, so that remains as is. On the second floor, we have reconfigured this second floor plan slightly. The previous plan had the stair in between the loft on the left and the master bathroom. So by moving that stair up, it allowed us to shift that loft space over to the right and away from the neighbor's rear yard. That shifted by about 8 feet. And we also reduced the square footage of that second floor by about 30 square feet. So that it sort of all helped to kind of compress the footprint of that second floor addition. Now the master bedroom is located on the corner there. That obviously has, you know, windows out towards Salida del Sol to the east and then straight down to the south, obviously to take advantage of the ocean views. And it is oriented, you know, adjacent to the neighbor's garage, so there really aren't any privacy issues there. The bathroom in the middle there does have some openings, but as you'll see, I've got some sections below which help illustrate. And then the loft has, you know, openings below. So section number 3 there on the right is a section through the master bedroom and through the garage, so you can see the views, you know, out over that house. And it does show that, you know, fence and hedge line along the property line between the 2 homes, which provides a you know, good deal of privacy. And then the section over is through that loft space. So the intent here is to have, you know, obviously we want windows out to the south to the view. And what we've shown is glass coming all the way down to the ground. But we've shown a balcony that extends out that is solid, so that it provides, you know, privacy, you know, from people inside that room looking down into the neighbor's, you know, windows or yard. So I hope that helps, you know, illustrate that we've taken the privacy into consideration. I think done a good job of you know, maintaining that. So number 2. Refocus a design that addresses the essence of this 1950s and 60s original piece of architecture and how it turns into more contemporary current version. So let's go to the views, which I think is 3 sheets. So I've got the existing plans and then the proposed floor plans as well, if we need to reference those. But these are a few views, and then I've got the elevations on the next sheet as well. So, you know, based on your comments from the last meeting, which were all, you know, really good comments, you know, really tried to you know, take the style of the existing house and apply that to the addition so that it's really a kind of a cohesive style of architecture that fits this neighborhood. So, you know, we've used the wood siding that's on the existing house now, applied that to the, you know, the garage addition, kind of a you know, 1/3, 2/3 proportion, similar to the existing home, which I think helps break up that mass. And then also utilize that little roof overhang element over the existing one-story window, kind of repeated that on the second floor to, add some detailing there as well. Let's see, item number 3, the board is not supportive of the glass garage door. So obviously we've replaced that. I know that you guys did not like that, so we've shown that change. And the idea here is to use, kind of a more traditional style door that fits with this style of architecture. Whether it's painted or maybe it's stained, but it, would be a wood door with some glazing. Number 4, when the project returns, the board would like to look at potential landscaping changes where exterior lighting will be considered, house colors, finish colors, roof materials, etc. So let's go to the next sheet, please, which are the elevations. So these are just straight on elevations. And then down at the bottom, I've included a couple of kind of inspiration images to show, sort of what we're thinking, that this is kind of a, cool, Mesa Beach cottage style. And then the thought is, using that same wood siding that's there on the house now, painted white. The existing windows are black, and the trim is black, so we'd use that as well with a white body color. We'd, match the existing shingle roof, and then some very simple light fixture, and I have shown the light fixture locations on the elevations, kind of conceptually, just to kind of give you an idea of what we're thinking there. Number 5, applicant shall work with staff to work out issues with any south-facing balcony elements to comply with the building code setback requirements of zoning. So this is a little tricky. The planner contacted me this morning regarding, if you want to scroll up to the south elevation, so that balcony there on the second floor on the left, which is at the loft. The way the zoning ordinance reads, it's very confusing. It says that uncovered balconies are not permitted, but it makes no mention of covered balconies, which this is a covered balcony. So, it seemed clear that we could have a covered balcony, which, as I mentioned, the purpose of that is to provide, privacy, looking down into the neighbor's yard. So I don't believe, it doesn't sound like that balcony will be able to remain, so that would have to be revised. And, obviously we need to bring the sill of that, window up to essentially do the same thing that the balcony is doing. So, and whether, we extend that little one-story roof element across to kind of break that mass up, something to provide some additional detail there, but that would still need to get worked out. And then item number 6, the board appreciates the lowered pitch of the roof, and maintaining the 23-foot floor measurement is acceptable. So that really hasn't changed. I think the overall height dimension changed by, I think, 6 inches, and that's only because we've got a survey now, and I could be more accurate with those dimensions. Yeah, what is it, 23 foot 10, I think that says on the east elevation to the highest roof ridge. Yeah, 23 foot 10 and a half. And again, that's just because we've got a survey now and can be more accurate with the exact heights in finished grade elevations. So I think that's it. That covers all of the items from the comments from the previous meeting. Aaron and Ryan, the homeowners, are on this call and available to help answer any questions. So I think with that, I'll conclude my presentation and turn it over to you guys for questions. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Hornbuckle. Did we get any public comment? And if someone's,
Thank you, Chair Miller.
hold on, I hear background. If you could, guys, please mute. I can hear background talking or whatever. That would help.
Yes, thank you, Chair Miller. If you are attending by webinar and would like to comment on this item, please raise your hand by clicking the hand icon in your GoToWebinar control panel. While we wait for hands, Jillian, did we receive any written correspondence for this item?
Thank you. We received 7 written correspondence letters that were distributed to the board prior to this meeting.
All right, thank you. And I do have some raised hands, so I'm going to just go through the list. First, I'll call on Jim Aoki. Let's see, I'm going to unmute you, and you have 2 minutes to speak whenever you're ready.
Yes, I have the owner that's downsloping on the south side of 347 Salida del Sol. And we've been, and I live downslope from them at 339 Salida del Sol. We were never contacted either by the owner or the architect. That was one of the recommendations from the board members. We find it kind of odd that if this is allowed to go straight up and appear right into the neighbor's window, losing their privacy directly into their backyard, 6 feet from the property line, and yet they have 25 extra feet toward Cliff Drive, which is bigger than most of the properties here on La Mesa, that they don't consider building on that backside. They could have a big deck, they can have a wonderful view, and they won't upset, the neighbor's privacy. And what it's going to do is set a precedence for other remodels or second story to push forward and stare right into their neighbor's backyard. And so hopefully the board members read the letters. My backyard neighbor is also very upset because just looking right outside their door, their balcony in their backyard appears directly into their kitchen. So you would think that the architects would at least contact us, or the neighbors who just recently moved in, at least knock on our door, introduce themselves, and hey, we're gonna do a remodel. My neighbor right down the slope next to me contacted us, and they told us exactly what they had in mind, and we like their design. We're not objecting to their remodel going up, but I have to ask the board members, if you had lived right next to this property and they decide to go straight up 6 feet from your property line, staring right into your windows in your backyard, would you like that? I would think not.
All right, thank you. Your time's up, but appreciate your comments. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Chair Miller. At this time, I would like to call on Kelly Althauser. Kelly, I'm going to unmute your microphone.
Hi. Oh,
Hi,
can
you
you?
have 2 minutes. Yes, we can hear you. You have 2 minutes to speak whenever you're ready.
Thank you. My name is Kelly Althauser, and I live with my husband at 1815 El Faro. I joined today's meeting to voice my second round of concerns regarding this property. The owners have basically resubmitted very similar plans to the ones that we opposed in April and only made token changes to protect our privacy. They've also made zero effort to speak out to us, even though we wrote them a letter. We have not heard from them at all. So I'm going to summarize my concerns briefly. First, this addition will allow the owners to view directly into my living room, sunroom, kitchen, and 2 bedrooms. There's absolutely no window-to-window privacy, and the addition will provide direct views into my most private spaces. Second, this addition we feel sets a dangerous precedent because due to the topography of the area, the homes on Salida del Sol were built approximately 10 feet above our homes on El Faro, which allows the homes on Salida del Sol to build second stories. If you were allowing them to build second stories, it will create a situation where the second stories appear more like third stories to our homes on El Faro. We also ask that the owners consider placing their addition on the Cliff Drive side of the property. It will allow them to have panoramic views without creating the massive privacy issues that they're pretending to ignore by ignoring our attempts to reach out. In addition to our privacy concerns, we're especially saddened to hear that the owners have made very little effort to protect the privacy of the Liu family. It's been increasingly clear to us that the owners are violating the Liu's rights to privacy and attempting to push these plans through without making any effort to contact us. Moving forward, we hope that the owners make an effort to reach out to neighbors and address our concerns. We're really thankful for everything the board does in this community, and we're really hoping that you were able to take the time to read our letters and try to just address our concerns around privacy. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you, Chair Miller. We have one more hand raised. I would like to call on Levi Maaya. Apologies if I'm pronouncing your name incorrectly. I'm going to unmute you. Oh, it looks like you're self-muted. I'm going to. Let's see.
Okay, there we go. I think I'm unmuted now. Can you hear
Great.
me?
Yes, we can hear you. You have 2 minutes whenever you're ready.
Okay, thank you for the time. My name's Levi Maaya. I live with my family to the southwest of 347 Salida del Sol on El Faro. I submitted a letter to this board after learning about these plans back in March, and I sent another letter again last week with both with photos that show what the potential impacts would be to our privacy at our house, given that our lot grade is at least 10 feet below the applicant's. This difference in ground level will cause the applicant's addition to appear more like a third or fourth story when viewed from our property and the property of other neighbors on El Faro and Salida del Sol. As parents of a young family, my wife Daniela and I are very sensitive to the needs of modern households with children, and we understand the applicant's desire for more living space. But despite receiving comments 4 months ago concerning our design, their design's encroachment on the privacy of several neighboring residences, including our own, the applicants have failed to substantially address those concerns with their latest design revision, which calls for an even larger second story on the south side of their existing structure that will tower over neighboring properties. Furthermore, the photos and elevations submitted in the applicant's revised plans appear to have been carefully selected to minimize the appearance of its substantial impact on neighbors' privacy. I've personally reviewed the design solutions proposed by the Althauser family in particular, and I'm in agreement with their suggestion to consider moving the second story mass to the northeast side of the property away from neighboring yards and houses and setting a precedent for neighborly second story additions in the neighborhood. As you review the project plans for the second story addition, please consider the 39-page packet of comments submitted by at least a dozen other individual neighbors that are in opposition to the applicant's current design. I'm hopeful that this board will review all of our concerns and require the applicants to develop a substantially different final plan that's compatible with this Mason neighborhood. I thank you for your service to our community and this time today.
Okay, there are no further hands raised, Chair Miller, so I will hand it back to you for questions.
All right, I'll just go down the list of people with questions. Board Member Klein, do you have any questions, please?
Yes, I just wanted to confirm that no trees are being removed and was wondering if you could speak to any new hardscape.
Board Member Klein, yes, that is correct. There's no trees that are proposed to be removed. If you want to go back to the site plan, I think it's on the 5th page. Yeah. So essentially all the landscape and hardscape that's shown in white on the site plan would be to remain, existing to remain. And then there would be a new driveway, permeable driveway, obviously for the new, garage location. And then, a new pathway to the entry door. And then, likely some new landscaping around those. But other than that, all the hedge around Salida del Sol and Cliff Drive would be existing to remain.
Got it. And you haven't specified the papers yet?
No, not yet. We would do that when we return for in progress and final. Yeah, absolutely.
Great. And I had a question. Can you just speak to some of the comments that we had from the public? If you had any
Sure.
Comments
Yeah,
regarding the neighborhood compatibility there and
Yeah.
the
absolutely.
into the-
It may be best to go back to the cover page. That site plan aerial. Zoom in on that guy. Yeah. So, keep in mind that the majority of the addition is located in the existing driveway. That's where the master bedroom is. So really, the views from that master bedroom are out over the garage of the existing house, and kind of down Salida del Sol. That's really where the focus or the view is focused. I've purposely pulled the second floor addition back from the rear of the house and the rear property line, to minimize the the views, any potential views and privacy issues into the neighbor's backyard, as well as the houses to the southwest, in the other neighborhood, which, by the way, that tile roof building that gets cut off on the left there of the aerial, that's a 3-story building, which is again, is 10 feet above those houses. So, they've got buildings that are existing that loom over those houses, that are much closer than this house is already. So, they've already got some privacy issues happening, with that building. But again, we've purposely located the addition, in that existing driveway to be as far away from the backyards, and those other homes as possible.
Great. Those are my only questions.
All right, thank you. Board Member Letitia, do you have any questions, please? And I think you need to unmute.
Sorry. Jeff, you don't have to answer this, but I need to ask you, what was yourself and your client's reason for not putting it on the northeast corner, the addition to the northeast of the house?
Sure. I mean, there was a number of reasons. One was to take advantage of that, the existing driveway space, but also and to, maintain as much usable outdoor space as possible. Another reason is to, respect the kind of the setback along Cliff Drive, so that there's not, that second story looming, over Cliff Drive as the houses currently respect, and as you guys all, agreed with at the last review. And then finally, there's power lines that run through that side yard currently. So, we can't build under those power lines. So yeah, I mean, we did consider it, and there were a number of reasons why we chose to locate it where we did, and based on the comments from the board from our last review, seemed to be in agreement.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Let's go I would like to look again at the section cutting through your house and the lower house. I think it goes through a bedroom. Yeah, is this down in the lower left? Is that an attic above that bedroom?
Yeah, it's just the attic space.
Just attic space. Okay, good. And then the loft, I have forgotten, forgive me, but the loft that you're proposing, does that look down into the existing living room and dining room and kitchen? Or is that a separate, all by itself room?
Into the neighbors?
No.
If you scroll up to the plan above, it shows, I call it a loft. I'm sorry, over to the left, the plan to the left, the second floor plan. Yeah, sorry. So that loft space is there to the left of the bathroom. It's open to the stair, which is open to the kitchen space below. So it's not kind of a, not a true loft. It's more of kind of an, open office space.
An open office space, meaning the only open space that you see there is the opening between the upstairs stairway hall and the room.
That's correct, yeah.
Doesn't look over a balcony down into the existing house.
No, it doesn't. That's correct.
Okay.
The
Okay.
previous plan, it was a bit, that stair was located in between the bath and the loft. So it was kind of more of a true loft where it's, open to below. That's why I was calling it a loft, and I just kind of kept that name.
Could that loft be open to the existing house or existing first floor below it at any amount?
Yeah, potentially, yeah. I mean, we're talking about, potentially vaulting the ceiling in the living space below. So you can see the ridge of the roof below coming through there and running into that loft. So there could be a portion where it's, open to below potentially.
Okay, I'll wait. I'll hold my comments to tell you why I asked that.
Sure.
Comments. That's all my questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Board Member Ziegler, do you have any questions, please?
Yeah, Jeff, what kind of roof are you planning to put on the house? I thought I saw pictures of a steel roof. Is that true or not?
No, those were just some kind of inspiration images.
Yeah.
We would be matching the shingle roof that's
Okay.
existing on the house. There, you can see the materials that we're proposing are there on the right. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
That's
That's
your
it.
only question? Is that it, Board Member Ziegler?
That's it.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, a couple of questions. What is the plate height of the second story?
The plate height of if we want to go to the second floor plan, just go, oh, okay, that's fine. Let's look at that south elevation. So the plate height of the master bedroom, which is the mast there on the right, is 9 feet. The master bathroom, which is the mast in the middle, is 8 feet, and then the loft is 9 feet.
All right. Now, I'm struggling. The colors you're mentioning, you don't have them on the elevations, right? You just have them on the swaths on that one page.
That's correct. Yeah, I haven't tagged them to the elevations yet.
Okay. Where exactly are the power lines? Do you have a good showing of where
They're on the north side of the building. Maybe I don't recall if they show up in the photos. Do you want to go to page 2 of the?
Do they run east or west or north down Soledad
They run east-west.
on that side of?
No, not that photo.
Oh, no,
No,
they're running.
Yeah, they're. I mean.
You can see some poles up to.
How about?
Oh yeah, if you view, excuse me, zoom in on view number 3.
Love computers.
You can see that pole there behind the tree. So that's running those lines that run, into the foreground. Basically, that runs parallel to Cliff Drive through that side yard.
Gotcha.
And then they branch off and run down the rear of the property as well. Those were the lines you were seeing in that other photo.
So nothing can be built in.
Okay, got it.
Nothing could be built on that parcel.
Did you have a question, Mr. Motisha?
Yes, I have a question. Nothing.
Uh-oh.
Sorry, let me answer it in a question. The reason that you didn't build on that piece of extra property is because you couldn't build on that extra piece of property. You probably have an easement there for the electrical lines over top.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I explained in my response, previously, is that there were a number of reasons why we chose not to, place the addition on that side of the house, and the power lines being one of them.
Okay, thank you. Did that answer your question, Mr. Motisha?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, I got my questions answered. Oh, the detailing, sorry. There's not much detailing, and if you look, this is a good picture to look at, the window covering on the bottom there with the brackets. Were you gonna match those kind of 50s Swiss chalet brackets?
You know, potentially, you know, I mean, obviously we've got to come back to you guys, you know, for in progress and final review. So, you know, we work those details out, but yeah, potentially.
So I mean, it's a simple answer. You're either gonna match them or not, right?
Well, I mean, I don't know that we've necessarily decided if we're going to or not.
All
You
right,
know,
so you
we need to, it's just something we need to study and, you know,
okay.
but obviously we'd return with those details, you know, whatever we, you know, ultimately decide, we'd come back and review with you.
So the siding below the brackets, that wood siding, you were gonna match exactly what that siding is? Was that correct?
That's the intent, yes.
So is that kind of the horizontal siding you're seeing up on the ridge there? Is that similar? Is that what it is?
Yeah, that's the same, yeah.
Okay. All right, thank you. Okay, those are my questions. I'll bring it back to the board for comments. Board Member Klein, do you have comments, please?
Yes. You know, I think it's helpful to communicate with neighbors to ease their concerns. But it seems like you've studied this, and the location of the addition seems like it is in the right location for me, as far as all the constraints, and you've looked at the views. I do think that the architectural materials are also high quality and compatible with the neighborhood. The colors are compatible, and the visioning images fit nicely with the Mesa neighborhood. So those are my comments.
All right, thank you. Board Member Motisha, do you have any comments, please?
Yes, the reason I asked the question about the extra lot is, I think, Brian, you asked for the lines, that's what I was getting into.
Yeah.
And the power lines and the easement and the fact that I would like the extra space in my yard too. I asked the questions about building in that section and that southeast corner of the house. I kind of agree with the architect here that putting the house up next to Cliff Drive is almost, that's not architecture to me. That's just putting a box next to a big street that's going to look down on that street, has wires above it, doesn't do anything for the extra backyard, the use of that backyard with a 2-story section right against it. I kind of agree with Klein, and I like the place that the addition is going in right now. It gives the least amount of gives the best privacy for all houses around, except for the house right below it. And there are 2 commercial buildings, as everybody realizes, above everything else to the southwest of this house, this property, and they all loom down onto that street down there where the neighbors complain that their privacy is being interrupted by a 10-foot height in the lots. It's not the owner's fault. He happens to have a lot that's 10 foot higher. They're all over Santa Barbara. Lots are much higher than 10 feet above other lots. And I don't think people complain that much about privacy. And yeah, this house designed the way it is does not create a sound wall for the owners of the house, which Cliff Drive would create. And I think you've done a very nice job of retaining the style of the architecture for the subdivision as it was originally built. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Board Member Ziegler, do you have any comments, please?
No, I think it seems like it's okay. I'm for it.
All right, so I'm going to be the party pooper here. I can't support this project on several different levels. First off, I think there needs to be a little better concern and consideration for the neighbors. So the next time you come back, I would like to hear a little more positive reinforcement from the neighbors, because this is, you know, you are a part of a community here. I also, and granted, the Single Family Design Board does not have purview for private views. However, in this case, you have these very large windows that overlook the lower property. And I do agree with a couple of the neighbors that you are setting a precedence. This argument that there's big buildings nearby that are already looming kind of goes by the argument, well, you've already got ruined views. Let's just, like two wrongs make a right. I don't agree with that. I don't think we should continually encourage it since if it already exists there. I feel the detailing is a little awkward, and I also am not comfortable with the color scheme. I think it's a little too extreme. And I think you should be I'd like to see a little more color, like an elevation with actual colors on it. I will not support as it is currently configured until I see a little more effort on behalf of the designer to placate the neighbors. Now, I want to make it clear to the neighbors that it is not our purview to secure private views, but I do believe that there could be a little better effort to maintain some kind of privacy, especially when you see that one view of item 1 where you have these very large windows overlooking the property below. But what I really like to hear is that the neighbors are being heard. It doesn't mean that this, and as it's clear, this board, the majority supports this project. It doesn't mean that the board is controlled by, what the neighbors say. But in this particular case, I can't support it right now until I see a little more effort in terms of the issues that the neighbors have with privacy. And I don't know, it's just not quite there yet for me. So that's my only comments for this. So they're here for project design approval, and if not, then comments for future when they return. So would someone like to entertain a motion? Hold on a second. Sorry, Joe. Someone just popped up. Is that Erwin? Did she want to speak? Who is that?
Chair Miller, the property owners are in attendance and may wish to speak if that's okay with you.
Sure, please.
Let's see.
Okay.
There we go. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead, Ms.
Can you hear us?
Natalie. Yes, go ahead.
Perfect. Hi, everybody. Awesome to kind of see you guys again. It's been a while. Yeah, addressing a few things. So most importantly, we're really floored and saddened by the fact that we don't feel like our neighbors have been heard. We did receive one letter by someone who was on the call, and I'm on text message with him. So we've gone back and forth. We unfortunately ran into COVID considerations with that neighbor, and upon kind of hearing from them and wanting to meet, we were waiting for a second round of COVID shots, and then a couple days later, my brother got COVID. So we've just been honestly extra careful. There's nothing kind of more concerning than meeting new people for the first time in this kind of environment. So we're being really sensitive, particularly for the neighbors next to us as well. We realized that a conversation with them would require a translator. And so we wanted to get far enough along with this process to have appropriate conversations. We wanted to have a contractor selected so we could set some parameters with them, start times, end times, when they wanted to know about what types of construction was going on, making sure their driveway and their front of their house was considered, and we weren't parking in front of them. I mean, there's a lot going into this, more than that meets the eye. So again, for everybody else on the call, as well as the board members, we feel terrible that it has seemed insensitive. And I think a couple of the neighbors even alluded to that in their letter, calling us culturally insensitive, which is not the case. I mean, we're very COVID conscious. We're trying to be appropriate. And for our direct neighbors in particular, that will require a lot of extra steps that we are absolutely willing to take, including having a translator on hand and having a proper meeting, but we're just not there yet. We wanted to see what it was gonna look like, what the construction was gonna deal with, because if we have 1 story versus 2 stories versus the mass on different sides, it's a very different conversation with them. But they're gonna have absolutely no holds bar participation in our start times and what they want to know and what they want to be privy to, and we will respect all boundaries, including if it's going to take an extra amount of time to get the project done. We are 100% signing up for that. So
Great. I really appreciate the communication. Communication is critical. So thank you very much for the comments.
absolutely.
I have a question first. Just, can I ask you where you live on the project?
Where we live, what do you mean?
Your house located on the project?
I don't know if that's pertinent or
Chair
legal.
Miller, I could answer the question. This is the property owner, board member Motisha.
Oh, yes.
Oh, I'm
That's okay. So yes, I live on the project.
your whole presentation. I didn't get that. I
Oh,
didn't.
yes,
I
she
missed
is the owner.
a lot there. I must have missed a lot.
Sorry. Yeah. So, and again, to other neighbors that are on and listening, we've only received one letter. I'm on text with him. If we've missed anybody, it was not intentional. And again, we'll regroup with Jeff. And oddly, I think one of the comments we want to make is the mast is an interesting thing, and we definitely want to go up. And the loft is going to be our work from home office, which is again a new world, a new COVID consideration. But had we had a neighbor on the other side, we're in the same boat. So we just happen to have Cliff. So I think that we're doing the best thing possible, all things considered. And we just want that to be kind of thoughtful as well. If we had another neighbor, we'd be in the same boat.
Got it. Thank you very much. Appreciate your comments.
Of
So I
course.
have to bring it, I'll bring it back to the board now. Someone like to entertain a motion.
I'd like to entertain a motion.
Okay.
I move that we give this part vision and design approval with comments and having to do with color. Well, it's been brought up. There's no color schemes. A lot of things that need to be addressed here. I'm only addressing the design approval of this project. And also, in the future, window sizes will be discussed. I have lots of questions about window sizes, especially bathroom window sizes that look down onto the adjacent neighbor.
I don't know. Are you making a motion? Please be clear and succinct. Board
Yes.
member.
I would like to get more understanding of the color schemes and size and shapes of windows and locations of windows. Other than that, I would like to.
I don't understand that as a motion. You're just making comments.
Chair
Yes.
Miller, if I may interrupt, board member Motisha, if you would like to make a motion for project design approval, I need you to read through the findings and state how the project,
Okay.
how you're able to make each of those findings. And if there are certain details you want to see at final approval, you can certainly call those out.
Those are the two details I would like to make in the approval or the president. I'm
Final
sorry,
approval, maybe.
in the motion. Yes, I believe that in this motion that the project, that the design, that the location of the addition is in the right place, and sorry, I didn't.
I apologize, Mr. Motisha. Katie, can you kind of get a gist of what Mr. Motisha's saying and see if you can rephrase the motion? She's good at this.
Sure. I'd like to make a motion for project design approval with the following findings: that the project is consistent in appearance with the existing neighborhood in its materials and its general style, and it's compatible in its size, bulk, and scale with the neighborhood, and the location of the addition was studied appropriately. That it does have high quality architectural materials, and we would like to see at final details of the windows and any color boards and permeable pavers and all of those wonderful details. And no trees are being removed.
Okay, just for the, okay. Just for the record, I'm gonna vote no because I don't agree that, I think the plate height is too high for the second story. I don't
Chair
agree with.
Miller, if I could Chair Miller, Board Member Klein is still making her motion. If we
I
could,
apologize. Keep going.
It's
Great
good.
job.
And the project also follows the public health, safety, and welfare of the neighborhood. The good neighbor guidelines generally comply with their studying of where the location of the addition should go, and the development, including proposed structures and grading, preserves significant public scenic views. That's my motion.
All right, thank you.
And I second.
All right. May I have a roll call, please?
Thank you, Chair Miller and board members. I will now start the roll call vote. Board Member Klein,
Yes.
Board Member Motisha,
Yes.
Board Member Ziegler,
Yes.
and Chair Miller.
No.
Thank you. The motion passes 3-1.
Wow. Okay, thank you. Okay, there's a 10-day appeal period.
Thank you all. Appreciate your time.
That concludes our single family design board for August 2nd, 2021. Thank you.